Hello all, Rosalie Ina here from rosaliesjourney.com, and I'm here discussing the Trecena that we are in right now during from January 14th to January 26th, 2023. We're doing the cycle of Cib, which is right here. And this is the lens that collectively we are looking through as well. So I'm going to go over a little bit of both. I want to reiterate that this is according to the Mayan astrology calendar, the 13 moon cycles. So this is going through cycles and patterns you can see as you pay attention to the cycle that you're in. So the Trecena is a 13-day cycle. It's kind of like the theme for the next lunar phase. And this is the one that we're in currently. Last week, starting the beginning of January, not last week, but the 13 moon cycle previously was about Akbal, which was about going into the abyss, going into the deep womb of ourselves, literally and figuratively, from a spiritual standpoint, and looking deep within, discovering new aspects of ourselves, things that were buried, going into the abyss of ourselves, the dark void where creation is started, the divine feminine energy. So now that we've come out of that cycle collectively, now we're going into the Cib cycle, which we're currently in as I'm recording this. And a little bit about Cib. Cib is associated with the owl. Owls have to do with wisdom. Owls have to do with nighttime. So this is also about the moon, which is about your emotional, the deep emotional part of yourself, the inner self of you that's not always widely open publicly to people, where people, the deepest part of you is, so we're following this moon cycle going deep within, but with owl has to do with wisdom. So after we went into the abyss with Akbal and retrieved other parts of ourselves, now we've gained this wisdom. And I don't know about you, but since the beginning of this cycle on January 14th, I have been facing some parts of myself. It's almost like I was going through things again in another capacity so that I can use my wisdom and discernment to, one, make sure which direction I'm going to go in with myself. Am I going to react or am I going to observe? Owls also observe. But then it was these different situations, experiences came up, kind of like, not a test, but just like, which way are you going to go with this situation? Which way are you going to go with this situation? Are you going to use your grace? Are you going to use your wisdom that you've gained from your previous experiences similar to this and do differently? You're going to go to the light or you're going to go to the dark? Which one? Are you going to find that balance? So some of the traits with this is grace, trust, inner wisdom, your inner voice of knowing, your intuition, your inner guidance. Also, with the inner guidance, being a galactic conduit, which this is kind of like similar to like a light language-esque, but your galactic communication, connecting with the higher versions of yourself, your guidance team, that inner knowing, the receptivity, mystic transmissions, receiving new insights, divine communication, cosmic consciousness, golden pillar, ferryman's staff, which is also similar to the shape of this, and interdimensional guides. So perhaps many of us feeling have been receiving new information, have been activated, are hearing things. Maybe you're starting to hear different pitches in your ears, your left or right ear. Maybe you're feeling different twitches in your body aches, different sensations, different feelings, being tired, being full of energy. There's many different things to this. The number associated with Cib is 16. Some colors are indigo, blue, gold, as you're seeing depicted in this glyph. The flower is calla lily, which I thought was interesting because this week, if you've seen my videos, I got myself some lilies and I intuitively felt to get it. And I'm still gradually realizing why I was given that information. And it's to get those flowers specifically during this cycle, this 13 moon cycle. And that's strong relations also to the divine feminine, which is also that moon energy. So we're in feminine energy in a lot of ways as well. Finding the balance, no matter which way you identify, it's finding the balance between your masculine and your feminine. And feminine has been suppressed in both the males and females, or however you identify. So it's that balance. We're coming back into balance. The element, one of the herbs is vervain. And I wanted to bring that up because I felt to say make some vervain tea to calm your nerves, to calm your nervous system. Drink some vervain tea. The direction is south. The element associated is fire. The shadow aspect of Cib is maybe you're lacking trust in your inner knowing, so be aware of that. Your ability to feel and act on guidance from spirit. Like I said earlier, this is like also bringing into your awareness the divine connection you have to your higher self, your guidance team, your galactic team, to source in a new capacity in your awareness. I felt to say Christ consciousness, trusting. The shadow aspect is not trusting the guidance, the intuitive nudges, the signs, the synchronicities, the messages you're getting, even from people speaking, I feel to say straight to your face and not taking heed with your wisdom, your inner guidance system. So be aware of the shadow side of this. It's not trusting yourself. We're coming into a time of trusting yourself wholeheartedly. That's also associated with the shadow side, not trusting the information given to you. A lot of times when we receive, as I've learned on my journey, my spiritual journey, usually the message that comes first when you ask a question to the universe or whoever you believe in, and you're looking for an answer, it is always answered. You have to be aware of the answer. And a lot of times, if you're hearing, let's say clairaudiently, let's just say, that first thing you hear in your head is usually the answer. Trust yourself, and this is practice. It's okay if you messed up, but you're going to be given many opportunities. So trust the wisdom given to you. Be aware of that aspect of the shadow side. So if you're realizing that you're falling into the shadow aspect of Cib, go within and reestablish your divine connection. Go outside, get grounded. Even if it's snow outside, just go outside, take some deep breaths. Taking the breath in, you're bringing in that air. Air has to do with your mental activity as well. So you're breathing in that new oxygen to give you more insights to help you get grounded, to reconnect. And as you reconnect, you're then reestablishing your connection to spirit to become that direct conduit. All of us are channelers. All of us are able to pick up what's in the ethers around us. We're all capable of receiving and tapping into that information. The wisdom of this Trecena is the harmonic wisdom throughout this Trecena, the 13 days of this moon cycle, is grace. Grace can be defined as love in another capacity. A swan is coming to mind right now because they're so graceful, but you can also be fierce when needed. It's finding that balance. There is a mudra, and if you're interested in it, comment below, and I will do a separate video about the mudra for this Trecena that you can try. But it's asking to meditate on the saying, I am the transcendent splendor of the night-blossomed lotus atop your golden luminous staff. Try that out and see how you feel meditating on that. One of the affirmations for this is, I take up the staff of my power. I take up the staff of my power. I take up the staff of my power. So during this time that we're in the Cib Trecena, it's also as we came out of the darkness with Akbal last Trecena, the last 13 days before this one. Again, Cib is from January 14th to January 26th, 2023. It's also an acknowledgement that you are already a dedicated journeyer on the path that unites heart and mind in devotion to the divine. You've reached a point in your life where you want to know the answers to the profound questions and yearnings that you need clarity on. So this is giving an opportunity to now that we dive deep within ourselves during the last Trecena, trusting the inner knowing that we received. It may be different. It may feel different, and that's okay, because you may not have been consciously used to it, but it is in your awareness. There's no turning back. So accepting this and trusting the messages that are coming to you. When you ask those questions, you will receive the answers. Be open and receptive. You can even visualize this as being a rod coming out of you, an antenna coming out of your head to receive that knowledge coming in from these different directions, being in the receptive mode of receiving answers. But also in being answers, you have to also be in your heart center and being in alignment, which is why you got to get grounded. Find your way to get grounded. Find your joy, because you're still going to be seeing the other aspects of things that may throw you off a little bit. So it's very important to come back to center, like the shadow wisdom. Come back to center. Don't doubt yourself. Trust yourself. And the stillness is when you're going to be able to commune with the cosmic consciousness. And this is a natural ability. I just want to say all of us have. We all have this available to us, to be open to divine, to the divine, being open to angelic messages, messages from source, cosmic messages. We all are receivers. We just have to tune to that channel, being in alignment. Now, it's also about following your intuition, your inner guidance. It also asks you to look at where you don't trust yourself, re-examining that. It's bringing into balance this lens, the shadow lens of ourselves, bringing into balance the light and the dark sides of ourselves. We have all of them, and I feel to reiterate those that are into astrology, even of the other kinds of astrology, Vedic, sidereal, tropical, whichever you're currently following. All of the zodiac, the 12 zodiacs that they show, or in Vedic, it's in a different shape, but it still goes in a pattern. All of those 12 zodiac signs are still a part of you. They're all still aspects of you. Even if you don't have planets in certain signs and such, you still got the whole zodiac, all 12 signs in your chart. All of those parts are still with you. So it's also finding the balance with the parts that you're not really that fond of when you do shadow work, and when you really go in and go to the roots of things. I like going to the roots of things because I find my hidden gems, and then I form a new perspective on the shadow sides of myself. And then you gain a new type of control over yourself to find that balance of both. I remember at certain parts of my spiritual journey, I was way over here in the light, and I had to learn all of that part on the light side to really embrace it and to really go deep within it. And then I was pulled right back to the dark side. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just parts of us that we're not too fond of, parts of us we've forgotten, that we've suppressed through programming and indoctrination. Our true authentic selves, a lot of times different aspects of it are found in the shadow. So to find that balance within yourself, to build that receptivity, to connect and to receive the divine messages to guide you, to hear all around you or feel whichever clair superpower you have. We all got superpowers, so I want to say that too. But going to the dark side and then finding a balance right in the middle to find my alignment, to move further and learning and growing. I don't think it ever really stops. You just keep going. That's where I'm doing. I think you get to a certain level and then you realize there's more. And then sometimes you realize everything you learned, you've opened up a new layer from going within yourself. You've opened up a new layer of awareness within yourself, where then you're re-looking at what you had just learned in a new perspective and realize, oh, that doesn't align with me anymore. And that's okay too, because that's part of learning and growing, is letting go of what's no longer serving to allow more room for the new to come in, and we're ever evolving. So it's okay to change your mind about something. Don't let anyone tell you, oh, well, you kept changing, Don't let anyone say anything. My cats are playing. Don't let anyone derail you, because it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your mind. So let's see. Trust yourself. So part of the shadow that I also just want to bring up is healing and releasing. Healing is also facing and accepting what you realized about yourself. Maybe you realized how you were acting or certain ways you used to talk to yourself or talk to others. You came to the realization, oh, that's not really loving. I wasn't really loving myself. And part of healing is coming into the awareness of, like, that's not serving me anymore. Or that way I used to think isn't serving me anymore. I've changed my perspective based on this experience that I had that was brought, and that's the other thing with Cib, is it brings, I feel like from going through Cib's Trecenas in the past, I've noticed my own cycles and patterns through the different Trecenas over the past couple years. And during, whether it's a Cib day or the Cib Trecena, things come up that make me solidify my connection, to make changes and progress and finding the balance with my shadow sides and finding that equilibrium, so that I can maintain my clear and strong connection to the divine. And like I said, all of us have this capability. No one is exempt. I'm not more special than you. I'm unique. But so are you in your own way. So sometimes in the shadow side of Cib, you may feel separated from guidance or the galactic intelligence. And remember that the gateway to the galactic truth is not out there, but it's within you. So it's the reunion of cosmic consciousness by trusting your mystical intelligence. You have your own way of connecting. I'm seeing how, like with yoga or with different ways of meditating, like you have to sit a certain way, you have to breathe a certain way, you have to do this a certain way. Listen, each and every one of us is unique in our own way. What works for this one is not going to work for this one. What works for you is not going to work for me. And that is okay. So it's about finding your own way to connect, finding your own way to get to your happy place, to bridge that. But it's also claiming your birthright of moment-to-moment guidance. And this is what I'm led to saying right now. Let's say you're walking outside in the snow. It's snowing where you are. You're taking a walk, or you're just taking a walk. And then you notice, let's say, a crow flying above you or sitting on a tree cawing. And then you ask the universe, or you ask the crow, What are you saying? And then take a deep breath and allow that information to come to you. Even if it doesn't make sense at first. What did you hear? What did you feel? What did you know right in those moments afterward? Were you open and receptive to hearing the answer right after you asked? That's the other part to it, is that being open and receptive, like the antenna or the ferryman's staff, your staff, to receive that information coming to you. You got to be open to hearing it too. And my class that I'm going to be teaching on January 29th, if you're local or able to come to Fitchburg, Massachusetts, is about bringing the awareness to the signs around you from nature. So if you're interested in that, I welcome you to come to my class. You got the receptivity. It's going back to receptivity. So there's open yourself up as a conduit. And it's amazing when you allow this to happen. It may spook you at first if you're not used to practicing your magic or connecting in this way. But this is part of who you are. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You have a soul. Your soul knows a lot of stuff. And there's a wonderful myriad of guidance, spirits and loved ones and ancestors and guides of all kinds always around you. You've got guardians. It's so many. I can't even count because there's just so many. And each of us have this support system. So it's being open and receptive gradually in your own pace. There's no rush with this. You go in your own pace. Everyone's at different levels too. Doesn't mean someone's better just because they've been doing it and they're already connected. Everyone's journey to getting there, which is why it's the journey, is going to be different. So no judgment. It's also able to show you that if you're open to it, to seeing the help that is around you in the physical as well. There's a lot of us stationed all around the world in different places to help in different communities of those on the next wave of awakening to their magicalness, to the other realms of existence that we cannot see, but you gradually can see depending on your abilities, and everyone's abilities are different. So I wanted to share this a little bit more about Cib and the shadow aspect. Just a little bit more on the shadow aspect, some of the qualities that it's bringing up as a lens that we may be seeing through, that we may want to re-examine, is our reactions. Which way are we going with our reactions? Are we finding our balance in our reactions? Resistance, what are we resistant to? What are we still attached to that's not serving us? Is there unfinished business still going on? Are there unexpressed parts of ourselves that need to be expressed so that we're more in line with our authentic selves? Discovering in shadows, like I mentioned earlier, are hidden potentials, things that we had suppressed because it wasn't adequate for the environments we were in, perhaps, other people that's not in line with you. Coming back to understanding and finding those hidden potentials too. Journeying back into wholeness, healing destructive family patterns. I know that part is coming up with me and my family. And the internalized father-mother, dark and the light. And that can be looked at in both ways. Father, mother, mother, father, mother, father. It can go. Depends on your belief systems and what feels right for you. So with this, though, looking through this lens, the shadow lens, onto this Trecena, you can find profound insights and empowerment that's awaiting you on your journey. And the shadow is simply the unseen faces of the light, your unfinished business, your fears, your doubts, the parts of yourself that you normally avoid or hide. And the shadow is the unexpressed, and it holds the most potentials and important tools for transformation. So your shadow will offer you signs for growth in everyday life. How are you noticing that during this cycle that we're in? Today is the 23rd that I'm recording this. And I know for me, I have, they have come up for me. But I'm grateful for that because it's helping me be aware of these parts of myself. And once they come up, I'm just like, oh, and I'm taking action. I'm taking action, pivoting, doing things differently because the communication's coming in. And some of us are on rapid. It depends. Like I said, everyone's journey is a bit different. You go at your own pace. Where I am, I'm going through things a lot faster because I'm cleaning up the unfinished business so that I can fully be whole. I'm working towards my wholeness. So keep that in mind. It's now the time to heal these destructive past family patterns and to work on bringing to awareness unfinished business with both your biological mother and father and the internalized voice of your inner father and mother. So think about that. Take back your power. Take back the power that you gave away growing up to nurture and give yourself permission to be, do, and become all that you are. So here I just wanted to also highlight some of the support that is available for us and some things to keep in mind during the Cib Trecena and looking through the lens of our shadow. So it highlights here, and mind you, this is in red, has to do with your root chakra, is number 11, master number 11, which has to do with individuality. Now, number 1 has to do with leadership, being assertive, new beginnings. 11 also has to do with illuminations. I feel like there's a lot of things that are being illuminated to us through this Trecena, especially with the shadow aspect, but also through the light aspect on both sides, both polarities. 11 is pillars, and it's almost, I almost want to see it as the major arcana card, the high priestess, is that natural intuition, the stellar intuition, which stellar gateway to cosmic consciousness, receiving that divine insight and being your most authentic, unique self, but being grounded, which is why I feel this is red, in your root chakra, grounded in earth, anchored, and then connecting to that higher part of yourself, connecting to your higher self source. So you have that both sides, from the top and the bottom, from your crown to your root, and then allowing the magic parts of yourself, which is why I feel White Raven was in there, trusting in the magic, to blossom out of you for all of us to see, because we all help each other, because we're all connected, and we're gradually coming into realizing that more and more and more as we stay connected to our higher selves, to their inner knowing, to following our intuition and not doubting ourselves. One of the guiding messages from animal spirit was lizard. Lizard spirit came up, and what I thought was interesting is this is number 38, which also 3 plus 8 equals 11. So 3 has to do with creativity. 3 is also associated with the ascended masters. 8 has to do with your personal power, your integrity, your assertiveness, achieving your success, your power. But the message here is dream the world into being. And lizard here, it's a reptile, it's an amphibian, but it's climbing up this like reed, and it seems like there's some sort of luminary here. And it's saying is, when was the last time you basked in the sun and allowed yourself to daydream? to imagine what might be and who you might become. When was the last time you did that? Just allowed yourself to imagine instead of what everyone else is telling you what to do. When was the last time you chose yourself, your individuality, and dreamed a new dream that was about you, not about them? When was the last time you dreamed about you and how you would like your life, your world to be? Not worrying, daydreaming and not worrying about how such and such is going to fit into that equation, or this person, even your own family members. Because when you're some of you might, by maintaining and connecting to your higher self, it allows you to be given bits and pieces of dreams or visions from your higher self, which is your purpose here, that you're supposed to create, because part of the creation process is dreaming your world into being. And take a moment, maybe when you're outside, breathing in that air, when you have a moment to be still, maybe before you go to bed or right when you wake up, after you told yourself you loved yourself 3 times. Take a moment to be still and allow what you would like your life to be like. Hold it for at least 17 seconds or more. Allow yourself to just be in there uninterrupted, allowing more sequences of the dream, how you would like this to be, how you'd like to feel, how would you like to touch this, how would you like to create this, what colors would you like it to be, how would you like to experience love, how would you like to experience creating something new, helping the community in a new way, helping serve the planet in a better way. Allow yourself to daydream what you would like to be, what you would like to experience. Allow yourself to daydream as if you're doing it. Have fun with it. It will, I feel like saying it's going to unleash a whole lot of great feelings in you. And that's when you know you're on the right path too, because you feel good doing it. Imagination is not a waste of time. Daydreaming is not a waste of time. It's part of the creation process of creating something new. A lot of things this world tells you is not going to serve you. It's actually contrary and taking you off your path. But we're coming back on our paths in a more wholesome way that's in line with the way we're truly meant to be. So this is what Lizard Spirit is asking us to do. Daydream and get a new perspective of bringing those inspirations into the world and creating it. And the magic is it draws you to the right people, places, and things to then make it physical. That's beautiful when that happens. And it's always happening for us. Mind you, what you keep thinking about in the shadow that's maybe not in balance also can come into being. So it's finding that balance. Giraffe, as you know, they are tall creatures. They are able to see things from another perspective because they're very tall. So giraffe, here's the other thing that's really neat. It's number 29. 2 + 9 = 11. I love how the universe works like that with these messages. 2 has to do with your intuition. It has to do with the polarity, seeing both sides of things. 9 has to do with endings. It has to do with humanitarian work, altruism, being of service for the greater good with love. So giraffe here is asking you not only to look from another perspective and see the bigger picture, seeing both sides, so then you can find a better way to express your individuality, to dream a different way that's more in line with you instead of them, and see the bigger picture. So this is an ally to help you see a bigger picture. Now, mind you, any of these guides you can also call upon to assist you in as your power animal. Maybe some are already your guides and totems, but you can also call upon them to utilize their power to work through you as well as you maintain your divine connection. Lastly is number 66, which is white raven spirit. Now, 6 plus 6 does not equal 11, but I thought it was interesting because it was two double numbers, 6 and 6. 6 has to do with balance and harmony. It also is trust. I feel it's associated, which is saying trust in the magic. So as you dream the world into being and seeing the bigger picture so that you can formulate your dream into a bigger, more expansive way, even if you don't know how it's going to come together. That's why you need to trust in the magic, which is also in line with the shadow. Trusting yourself, trusting where you're being guided. Even if it doesn't make sense at this time, it will make sense and it's going to fall in line. If it feels good as you're dreaming it and feeling it and believing it, it's falling in line with your own individuality. So you want to trust it. That was what we brought up in shadow. Go back to that. Trust in the magic. Trust in how things are going to unfold. These are your allies during this Trecena as well. See how that fits into where you are right now on your journey.